a white guy, and this comes from
Yeah.
from the eastern part, no, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I am.
you look
Caucasian.
very white to me. Yeah, yeah. So
I've
what
had-
happened? Where?
kind of
How did they drop you in the east?
Kind of an unusual background, I guess.
Okay. You were an orphan, were you?
No, I was actually stationed in Thailand, in
Okay,
Bangkok,
there we go.
years ago.
Okay, took you a little while,
I
but
was
you
in-
got out of it.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
actually in the embassy in Bangkok.
All right.
And then after that, I went to the embassy in Japan, in Tokyo.
Wow.
So I was there for a while, and between the two, I got very familiar with the Eastern culture and so forth. But actually, the way I got into this, because I've always been trained as a chemist and a clinical pharmacologist. I went to Vanderbilt and trained in that. So I was trained in that area, and I worked at in research for quite a long time at a local place here called Amgen. It's a biotech company.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I worked there, and I was very formally trained in the Western side. But then I had a personal experience, a health experience, where I had gone to all these doctors locally, and some of the major ones down in LA, like UCLA and Cedars-Sinai. And basically, there was pretty much nothing left. They said, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, you had
And
to do.
You were like, God, that can't be all.
I said, well, let's see what's out there. So then I did my own investigation and
Right.
research on the internet,
Right,
and
right,
I went around. We're lucky, right here we have a big Chinatown in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So my ex-wife now actually is from mainland China, so I'm a little bit familiar with Chinese medicine and the Chinese culture. So we went down there. We were, still together. She took me down there, and we went all around to all these Chinese docs. We'd tried Western medicine for about 3.5 to 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing was working.
Now, what do you mean Western medicine? What?
We had tried, different. We had gone to one doc local
what
here.
was the ailment? Is there something?
It's well, I don't really want to say, but it was locally. We went to a doc locally, and he gave us one diagnosis, and really there was nothing we could do. That's what he said. And then we went to another doc locally, and he said a different diagnosis, nothing we could do. Then we went eventually to UCLA, and they said, well, you need surgery right away.
Right, yeah, they're famous. over there.
And then Cedars-Sinai said the same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
He said, there's only experimental surgery. We can put a small electronic device in your back, basically. And
Didn't you love that? Did that scare the Javitas out of you?
It did, but it would actually, doing the research, scared me more, because I found out that little device had to be replaced about 5 times a year.
Oh, my God.
So it's not really simple surgery. It was very unsuccessful surgery. When they mean experimental, they really meant experimental.
Right, right.
So I wasn't too keen on that.
Right.
I think if you would have implanted it and it would have worked, you could have gone 15, 20 years, it would have been good, but that wasn't the case. So at least from the research, and I had read quite a bit.
Are you real? I mean, you're talking like you're not supposed to be here. You're not a robot.
I actually
are
got
you?
a certified letter
Wow.
from the doc,
Yeah.
right locally here, saying he didn't want me as a patient anymore because I was going to die.
Wow.
It was amazing. I couldn't
they
believe
do
it.
that?
Yeah, this
They
is
did it to
like-
me,
yeah,
so I got
yeah,
that. He
yeah.
said,
No, I've
well,
heard
Oh.
he said, if you don't follow these steps.
Yes. Yes.
And I said, no, I wasn't going to do that every day for the rest of my life.
Right.
I still had hopefully 40 more years to go, and
Right.
I thought I didn't want to follow these procedures.
Interesting.
So, anyways, I started looking into alternatives, and one of the alternatives was with Chinese medicine, and I had a little bit of a background on that from my ex-wife. And so we went down through Chinatown, and we went to a couple of docs, Chinese docs. They're called OMDs, a Doctor of Oriental Medicine. And it's usually a combination of acupuncture and Chinese herbs.
Right.
And so we went to a few, and it's a process of time. You go to one, you take your Chinese herbs for about 3 months, and with Chinese herbs, we can get into it. Usually they're a little bit more slower acting because they're dissolved in water. So it takes more time before you see an effect, if you
Right.
see one.
Right, right.
So over about a year and a half, we had gone to like 3 different docs, Chinese docs, and then finally one of them started working. One of the docs, actually, the combination of the acupuncture and the herbs.
Let me ask you a question,
Sure.
because I've been to herbalist, and because I'm in the mold business, I started the whole thing in late '89, and as an environmentalist, I help people with all kinds of symptomatic issues, and I'm just shifting a little bit.
Okay.
When I realized there was something wrong with me, and Mindy remembers this, and I went into a tailspin, a total depression state, and I didn't know what it was. And later I found out it was mold.
Yeah.
My whole body, my liver, my kidneys, my lungs were full of mold. And the mycotoxin which is a chemical that spews out of the single cell, was creating all this, imbalance in my immune system, and then, of course, the the ability to create the depression.
Right.
The minute I found this herbalist that somebody said, you should go check this out, I found within 2 weeks my vision came back, because I had blurry vision and memory loss. That was one of the side effects, and it's documented today.
Right, that'll do that.
That mold will cause that, and a lot of other things, but this is one of the main things. I mean, it cleared within 3 weeks.
Yeah, it'll clear up quickly if you. It's
I mean,
amazing.
it was
Okay,
incredible.
we're talking about it. Are we talking about what's on the table
No,
here?
we're getting. He's going to get back to his
Oh,
thing.
okay.
I'm just reinforcing the
Because
idea
I'm curious now. If people, of other people, we have listeners out there that, have issues.
Yeah, yeah.
We want them to know.
Well, I swear by the herbs, but get back to your story, because this is important.
I guess my story is could be kind of a long one. I'd like to tell people about the herbs, but what happened actually, to make it kind of a long story short, this is over a course of about 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So it's a really
That's a
long
little
thing,
too
a lot
long.
of experimenting.
We only have
and so
an
what happened?
hour.
What actually led me to Western medicine? This is Western herbs. It's called Western herbal medicine, or Western
okay.
plant medicine. They call it biobotanicals or plant medicine, but it's Western style. What led me to this is with the Chinese herbs, they were beginning to work, and there was some changing, some turning around of the condition.
Right.
And so the one thing that led me, as a research chemist, I knew that if you take plants up, if you dissolve it, or dissolve the plant in water, you're only going to pull out, it's called extracting, just a small percentage, because plants aren't really water soluble.
Right.
So, it's like when rain hits it, it doesn't dissolve it. It just kind of stains or runs off. So with Chinese meds, normally what you do is you take them in a clay pot, you boil them up, and then you drink them. And you do that once or twice a day.
Right.
And you take a whole concoction of either roots or plants and so forth. And then what Western herbs do is they actually extract the material with ethanol. And by ethanol, it'll pull a lot more of it out much quicker. So the bottom line to the patient is it's much more quicker acting. So I can take somebody like with, in my case, or like somebody might come in with, say, hot flashes.
Mm-hmm.
Very common if you have like menopause.
Right.
But you can have it also as an illness. It could be as
Devo, any menopause your way?
Not yet. I've actually, like pre-symptom symptoms.
Oh, okay,
not really
okay.
full symptoms.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can. It's really hard to treat a lot of different conditions with regular Western prescription medicine, such as menopause or hot flashes, or there's a whole variety of things. Headaches. There's a lot of things, and so you can actually do very well with herbal medicine, and they can work really quickly. And with these type of medicines dissolved in ethanol, they.
Now, can you get high off the ethanol? That'd be a
No,
feature that I'd be
you're only
interested
taking a small
would
amount.
not.
You're only taking
No?
you're only taking a
in.
teaspoon.
Question: ethanol, isn't it close to alcohol?
It is alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Ethanol is alcohol,
The
the
ending.
drinking alcohol. But you can also get it in tablet form. So if
That's not funny.
there's problems with the tablet form. It's much better actually to take it as
Shot.
what they call it as an extract.
Yeah.